ladies and gentlemen, is a 300 horsepower Lycoming 9-cylinder engine. They could either be...
Let's see if the engine starts. Yeah, will it fly? I need to use this later.
They're an amazing engine. 220 horsepower all the way up to 330 without using a supercharger. Turn the mags on, it'll help, yes.
Oh, there she goes.
There we go. Woo! Thank you, Chuck. All right. There's your best flight instructor in the world. If you need your tail wheel endorsement or a seaplane endorsement, or just learn how to fly, Chuck Tippett will do it for you. Starting this Waco UPF-7, YPT-14 is Joe Bender, a wing walking pilot, tremendous formation pilot, grounds crew, chief, and maintaining it. That's a 220 horsepower Continental 7-cylinder engine, 670 cubic inches. Another Continental 220. Now the Navy painted Stearman right here from a Grumman F3F in World War II. 220 Continental. Now we know the Continental Engine Company is down in Alabama now, but it was not in World War II. You had to go to the center of manufacturing, which was Michigan, to make the war material. So Muskegon, Michigan, Wayne, Michigan is where those engines were made. Lycoming engines made in Lycoming County, Pennsylvania. Radial engines, ladies and gentlemen, air-cooled radial engines. Not water-cooled, not liquid-cooled. Now in World War II, you had the two engines, the radial engines, air-cooled, and you also had the liquid-cooled using a radiator like the P-51 Mustang. Now, if you're flying a mission with the P-51, if somebody on the ground hits you, even with a stray bullet from a .22, it could puncture that radiator or in the lines and you would come down. Now, in World War II, these radial engines, believe it or not, could take a tremendous beating. And sometimes pilots would return with their P-47s or the Grumman Hellcats that used the 2800 14-cylinder Pratt & Whitney engine, and sometimes an entire cylinder would be shot out, and they would still make it back to the airport. It was an amazing thing.
And that is the difference between American engineering and German engineering.
Yes, and German engineering. Now, speaking of that, the German pilots of World War II had no cutoff date. In America, you flew a certain amount of missions, and then you were sent back home to be an instructor. In Germany, they didn't do that. They said, you fly to the end of the war. Well, that bit them. That bit them right in the rear, because what happened there was all their pilots, the real good pilots, just could not make it to the end of the war. They were not able to go home and instruct, and towards the end of the war, World War II, the German pilots were pretty much eradicated, and the Allied forces owned the airspace over Germany. There was no resistance at all. Now, in World War I, where the Barons served, that was a very steep learning curve, as you will study online and find out. Everybody was learning at a tremendous rate. It was very difficult. You would get caught in dogfights, and dogfighting is the worst thing you wanted to do in combat.
But it is the most fun.
Yes, you did not want to get caught up in a dogfight, but in World War I, that's what they did. They had sometimes 50, 70, even 90 airplanes milling around, which leads me to aircraft identification. I'll be quiet, you can make a video. You ready? Here we go. A 5-ship. gives you goosebumps, doesn't it? Yeah, it does me too. Big radial engines.